You've been chasing happiness in all the wrong places. What if I told you that 2,400 years ago, a Roman philosopher discovered that the secret to unshakable joy isn't avoiding pain, it's deliberately seeking it out. Welcome to the modern sages, ancient wisdom, modern application. Today, the uncomfortable truth about what actually makes us happy, why modern science proves the ancients were right, and your 2-minute practice to start building real resilience tonight. Picture this. It's 50 AD in Rome. Seneca, one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the empire, does something that would make his servants think he's lost his mind. He strips off his fine robes, puts on rags, and walks out into the cold Roman streets with nothing but the clothes on his back. This isn't punishment. This isn't penance. This is practice. Seneca called it his fire drill, deliberately simulating the loss of everything he owned. He'd sleep on hard stone, eat scraps, beg for food. For days at a time, one of the richest men alive would live like he'd lost it all. And here's what blew my mind when I first read about this. He said those were some of the happiest days of his life. But Seneca wasn't the first to figure this out. 300 years earlier, a man named Diogenes took this idea even further. Diogenes owned nothing, literally nothing. He lived in a barrel, ate whatever scraps he could find, and when Alexander the Great, the most powerful man in the world, offered him anything he wanted, you know what Diogenes said? "Yeah, could you move? You're blocking my sunlight." The guy living in a barrel just dismissed the ruler of the known world like he was a minor inconvenience. Here's where it gets interesting. Both of these men claimed they had discovered the secret to happiness, and it wasn't what you'd expect. They said comfort was the enemy. Fast forward to today. We've built the most comfortable civilization in human history. We can have any food delivered in minutes, any entertainment streamed instantly, any discomfort medicated away. We've won the comfort game. So why are we more anxious, more fragile, more miserable than ever? The answer lies in something Seneca wrote 2,000 years ago. It is likely that some troubles will befall us, but it is not a present fact. How often has the unexpected happened? How often has the expected never come to pass? Enter David Goggins, Navy SEAL, ultramarathon runner, and possibly the toughest human being alive. At 297 pounds, he was told he'd never make it through SEAL training. He lost 106 pounds in 3 months. He ran ultramarathons with broken bones. He pulled a sled across frozen landscapes that would kill most people. But here's what's fascinating. Goggins discovered the exact same principle Seneca had figured out 2,000 years earlier. And then there's Wim Hof, the Iceman. This guy climbed Mount Everest in shorts. He holds the world record for longest ice bath, 1 hour and 53 minutes. Scientists have studied him because he can literally control his immune system through breathing and cold exposure. What do all these people have in common? They figured out that deliberately choosing discomfort builds something that no amount of comfort can give you: anti-fragility. See, when Seneca practiced poverty, he wasn't torturing himself. He was building psychological muscle. Every time he chose discomfort, he was proving to himself, I can handle this. I can handle anything. It's like going to the gym, but for your mind. The Stoics and Cynics understood something we've forgotten. Happiness isn't the absence of problems. It's the confidence that you can handle whatever problems come your way. But then everything changed. We decided comfort was the goal. Somewhere along the way, we flipped the script. We started believing that the good life meant eliminating all friction, all difficulty, all discomfort. We built entire industries around this idea. Convenience stores, same-day delivery, ergonomic everything, apps that remove any possible inconvenience from our lives. And we created something the ancients warned us about: comfort addiction. Here's the thing about comfort addiction. The more you avoid discomfort, the more sensitive to it you become. It's like spending months in a dark room and then walking into sunlight. What used to be normal becomes unbearable. Seneca saw this happening to his wealthy Roman friends. They couldn't handle the slightest inconvenience without falling apart. A delayed meal was a catastrophe. A cold draft was a crisis. They had everything, and they were miserable. And that's exactly what's happening to us. But here's where the story gets hopeful. Because people are rediscovering what the ancients knew. When David Goggins runs through pain, he's not just building physical endurance. He's building what he calls calloused mind, the same mental toughness Seneca was developing on those Roman streets. When Wim Hof sits in ice water, he's not just showing off. He's proving that he can control his response to discomfort. And here's the kicker. Scientists have found that people who practice controlled cold exposure become more resilient to all kinds of stress, not just cold. The mental training transfers. It's the same principle. Choose your discomfort, or life will choose it for you. But when you choose it, you become anti-fragile. You become someone who doesn't just survive problems, you get stronger from them. Colin O'Brady proved this when he became the first person to cross Antarctica alone, pulling a 320-pound sled for 921 miles. His trainer, Mike McCassell, had prepared him using the ancient principle: voluntary hardship builds involuntary resilience. And here's the most beautiful part. When you stop running from discomfort, you discover something amazing. You're stronger than you thought. And here's what's fascinating. David Goggins discovered the exact same principle 60 years later. In his book, Can't Hurt Me, he describes building what he calls a cookie jar of mental wins through repeated voluntary suffering. Every time you choose the hard path and survive it, you're depositing proof that you can handle difficulty. This isn't just ancient philosophy. Modern neuroscience backs it up. When you expose yourself to controlled stress, whether it's cold showers, difficult workouts, or challenging conversations, you're literally rewiring your brain's stress response system. You're building resilience at the neurological level. Now for the 2-minute practice. Open your notes app or grab a piece of paper. I want you to write 3 sentences and be brutally honest. The discomfort I avoid most is, this avoidance is costing me. The smallest first step would be, don't overthink it. Maybe you avoid difficult conversations, cold showers, challenging workouts, or saying no to people. Maybe you avoid being alone with your thoughts, or taking creative risks, or having hard conversations. Write it down. Then commit to taking that smallest first step this week. Not tomorrow, this week. The Stoics called this premeditation of adversity, mentally preparing for difficulty so it loses its power over you. Here's the principle in one line. Real happiness comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. Here's what to try. Identify your avoided discomfort and take the smallest possible first step toward it this week. Now I'm curious, what's your bigger enemy? Avoiding physical discomfort or avoiding emotional discomfort? Drop your answer like this. My enemy. First step. If you want more ancient wisdom with modern application, subscribe. We post weekly.